everyone, welcome to today's episode of The Lily Show. Today we have a very special guest joining us, coming in to answer some questions that I have for her. Many of you probably do not know who this person is, but she is one of the two women hostages kept for the full 444 days that 52 Americans were taken hostage in Iran. This is also known as the Iranian hostage crisis. So please welcome to the stage, Miss Catherine Cooley.
Hi everyone, I'm Catherine Cook. I was kept hostage in Iran for 444 days with 51 other people, including only one other woman.
Wow, that sounds really rough. Please go on.
Yeah, it was rough.
So we are going to ask you our first question, if that's okay with you.
No problem.
So my first question is, what were you doing working in Iran in the first place?
So I was in Iran because I was serving as the director of the Iran American Society.
What's the Iran American Society?
Well, the Iran American Society is a non-profit organization established by the U.S. government to foster educational and community ties between the Iran and the U.S.
That's very interesting. I've actually never heard of that organization. So I'm going to ask you my next question now. My next question is something probably a lot of people in the audience would like to know and they're probably wondering about. So what was it like being kept hostage in Iran for so long?
Horrible. Absolutely horrible, as you could probably imagine. Our hands were tied together, and we weren't allowed to speak a single word. I would just sit still in a room all by myself, not being able to move a muscle. It was actually quite lonely.
Oh my gosh, I actually cannot even imagine, Catherine. That sounds so terrible.
Oh, it was.
So I'm going to ask you my third question. It is about after you were released. What was the biggest challenge you had to overcome when you came home?
Definitely being alone. After being in such a quiet atmosphere for 444 whole days, being alone was such a scary thought for me to have. Also knowing that 8 people died trying to rescue me, and they didn't even know me at all. All those families ripped apart because one person was trying to save me.
That's so amazing. You truly are a hero.
Thank you. But in my opinion, the real heroes are the ones who threw away their lives for me.
3.
Well, now we have another very special guest coming in to answer some questions. Everyone, please give a warm welcome to the stage, the president during the time of the hostage crisis, Jimmy Carter.
Hello, fellow Lily. Hello.
Welcome.
Thank you. Lily, thanks for having me. I'm Jimmy Carter, the 39th President of the United States, also known as the President during the time of the Iranian hostage crisis.
Hello, Jimmy. Nice to meet you, too. We are going to ask you a couple of questions today, if that's okay with you.
Of course, Lily. I'm open to any questions that you have.
So, one of my questions is, do you have any regrets on everything that you tried to do to save the hostages during the crisis?
Well, of course I have some regrets. I regret not being able to save the hostages, just as anyone would. But I definitely do not regret my efforts to try to save the hostages. Although Operation Eagle Claw got aborted, I do not regret trying to save them. The only thing I really wish I would have done was send one more helicopter on that mission.
Wow. In my opinion, you definitely did everything in your power to try to save those hostages. It must have been so hard for you to see the pain those hostages were in, and also seeing those 8 men die trying to save them.
Oh, indeed it was, Lily.
So I have another question for you, Jimmy.
Sure, shoot.
How did you feel when the hostages were released just minutes after you were no longer president?
So y'all probably thinking I'd be mad or upset or just disappointed, but really when the Secret Service's agent whispered in my ear that the hostages were released, it was one of the most happiest moments of my life. I can't even think of a better time in my life. Of course, I was very upset that I was not elected president again, of course, for my second term, but all I could think about in that very moment was, thank God they were finally released. Honestly, at that time, I didn't even care that I wasn't president anymore when they were released. All I cared about was that finally, those people, those hostages were finally released, and that probably made me the happiest person ever to hear about that news for those hostages.
That was definitely not what I was expecting. To be honest, I probably would be more angry because they weren't released during my presidency.
Well, of course, after everything settled down, I was very confused about whether they would release the hostages, why they would release them after 5 minutes after my term had just ended, but obviously politics may have something to do with that. But I was just so released they were finally released from Iran. I felt this way because when a person tries as hard as I did to reach that goal, nothing felt better than finally to reach it.
Well, thank you so much for coming, and this will conclude our episode for today of The Lily Show. Thank you guys both so much for coming and talking to me today. It was so interesting to hear both of your thoughts and opinions on this experience.
Thank you so much for having me, Lily. It was a pleasure to meet you.
Yeah, thanks, Lily. It's been a pleasure to be here and a pleasure to share my story and to talk to you. You're a tremendous host.
Thank you. No problem. Bye, everyone. See you next week on The Lily Show.
Goodbye, everyone.